It's James Lupton for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined with the Public Nuisance, Sean Mccomb. How you doing?
Good. Just a bit bored. I'm in my hotel room here at the minute, as you can see. Just quarantined for 24 hours until test results come back. So quite bored, watching a lot of television and a lot of podcasts. Just get me through the day, But I'm feeling good, feeling sharp.
Good stuff. That's it. So you're fighting Wednesday night. You only got to the hotel today. So talk us through your day so far. So I'm assuming you've been tested this morning.
Yeah, tested on arrival. 9 a.m. this morning. Tested, checked into the hotel room, and from then it's quarantined for until the results come back, which are due tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So today's just been basically every man for themselves on their own, stuck in the hotel room, and you have to book in for training sessions. We have a small room downstairs we're using within the hotel, like a conference room, that they've turned into a gym, put a running machine and stuff into it. So you have to book in there for a certain time slot, and only one individual boxer is allowed in at each time. And then after each individual boxer goes in, it's then deep cleansed and wiped. Everything's done, wiped professionally, and a new fighter comes in and so on.
Let's talk about the fight. So this time of recording it is Monday. It probably won't go out until tomorrow, Tuesday, but you'll be fighting Wednesday night against Siar Ozgul. He's been in with some experienced guys, Victor Postal, Anthony Yigit. Talk to me about Siar. What threat does he pose to you?
Yeah, he's a very tough operator. He comes forward a lot. He's a one-dimensional fighter, but that makes him dangerous. He's very good at what he does. His presence. He's a big lad. He's fought at welterweight as well, which I've never done. So he's going to be physically strong. He's going to come forward. He's dangerous with the head. He's very relentless in his performances, and one that I've really looked into and knowing exactly how to break that momentum from him. I'm very eager to get going and show that side of things as well for himself.
One thing that Siar Ozgul can certainly say he's got a big heart. He's a tough man, and he'll be in there and he'll give you the rounds for sure. Is this the right fight at this stage of your career?
Yeah, well, it's the only fight at this stage of my career because there's a lockdown and there's no other opponents out there that was willing to step up. I believe Siar Ozgul got a phone call and he was, within seconds, he agreed to the fight. And I expected that from Siar. I've sparred him a few times in camp myself, so I know exactly what he brings to the table. I know he's a tough man. I know he loves the challenge, and I know he loves the fight. So I didn't doubt for 1 second that he wouldn't take the fight.
You mentioned that you sparred him previously. Is there anything that he could take away from those spars to give him confidence in this fight?
Yeah. I mean, he had his moments in the spars. He was coming forward. He was throwing a lot. I was covering up, blocking, and we traded a lot of inside work, which suited him. Again, I hope he does because it's a small ring we sparred in. And I was working too. I was working on things. I wasn't getting in there with my original style to begin with. I was standing trading a lot more. I was working on my inside presence and working on little things that I'm trying to develop myself. So he may have false confidence based on them spars.
Now this fight, I believe, is at super lightweight. Will be
your 140.
So your last fight at the weight before you look to go to lightweight, I believe.
Yeah. So again, we were due to go down to lightweight already by now, but again, with the fights being restricted and opponents being very hard to come by at the minute, we've just stayed at 140, and something we look forward to doing in the future, getting down to lightweight. And if an opportunity comes at super lightweight after this, if any doors open for me in the back of this one at 140, I'll stay at 140 and give myself the options of both. But ideally, I would like to push on, and if that means pushing on 135, then so be it. I'll move down lightweight.
The fact that this one was at 140 and you hadn't thought it may be at 140 beforehand, did that mean you had to change your camp at all? Was you looking to cut the weight, or had you not got that far yet?
everything went exactly how it was due to go anyway. I'm working with a nutritionist who gives me a strategy from first week in camp to the last week in camp, and it's basically the same because of I do the scans, I've done the DEXA scans, the muscle mass, the fat mass, and he works it all out based on what I have to do anyway. And it would have been near enough identical to what I'm doing at the minute. The only difference in the weight drop would be fight week, taking more water out, which I don't need to do at the minute, thankfully. But when I go to lightweight, I'll just take more water out in terms of using a sweatsuit and stuff like that the day before the fight. So that's the only difference.
And coming away from the fights, I want to talk a little bit about MTK. First of all, how pleased are you to get out on their first show?
Yeah, very pleased. First show, been a long lockdown. I've been training for a long 10 weeks now in camp, and I'm just delighted to have the opportunity to get out on the first show, because who knows what the future holds in terms of another lockdown or a second phase coming. We don't know. So for now, I'm just very grateful to be kept busy.
What have you made of the comeback from boxing already? As we've seen Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn shows comeback. What have you made of the return?
It's been better. The fights have been better. They've been more. I'm sure everyone will say the same. They're better. They're better matched fights. 50-50 fights. It shows who's the real fighters in boxing and who's not. Who has the balls in boxing and who doesn't. Have too much people tiptoeing around easy opponents and trying to look good and flash for the camera, but when it comes to the restriction, they're only going to show 50-50 fights. So this is the ones who are going to benefit.
Why has it taken for a global pandemic to give us these 50-50 domestic fights?
I believe social media is a platform for people to be something they're not, or to show and believe that they're something they're not. And if you think, or if you want people to think of you what you don't think of yourself, then that's entirely up to you. But when the 50-50 fights are put on the table and you have that opportunity to show everyone what you're capable of doing, you don't take the opportunity, that also defines who you are, and there's no escaping it now at the minute. So if someone asks me to fight, I'm taking it. As simple as that. No matter who it is.
The fact that you are getting out so early on the MTK's first show, does that mean that you will, or you're hoping to be out again before the end of the year?
Yeah, at least another 2 times if possible. October, December. I don't see no reason why not.
And also, I just want to go back a bit further. I want to talk a little bit about, for those who don't know, a little bit about your amateur career. You was obviously Ireland captain. Talk to us a little bit about your accolades and your start into boxing, why you got into boxing.
Yeah, just family. My brothers boxed. My two older brothers boxed. They were good fighters, won Irish titles at national level and junior level. My father boxed, my uncles boxed. It was in the family, and from then it was only natural for me to do the same. Holy Trinity Boxing Club had just built a new club in the year 2000. I think I was 8 years of age, and I joined there and never looked back. Just was always in me.
So that's Holy Trinity, sorry.
Sorry?
Was that Holy Trinity you mentioned there, sorry?
Yeah, Holy Trinity, yeah.
So that Jerry Stories, Jim?
No, he's Holy Family. It's Mickey Hawkins.
Okay, apologies. What is it about Ireland and boxing? There seems to be, I spoke to Tyrone McKenna a little while back, and it seems to be nearly every household somebody's boxed. What is it about Ireland that loves boxing?
Well, we're known for fighting Irish, aren't we? So it goes way back to our ancestors. But no, I think our government really backed boxing as a way to get kids off the streets. Our local councils, fund a lot of local boxing clubs that keeps the doors open, keeps heat in, keeps kids from coming in off the street, and I think that has a big part to play. The funding, without the funding, it wouldn't be possible. Almost every area in Belfast has a boxing club in it, and it gives kids an opportunity to get off the streets and go and achieve their dreams.
See, I didn't know that's amazing. I mean, it's something that we certainly could do with over here in England, with especially with knife crime, street violence. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people saying they feel boxing should be brought into the extracurriculum in schools on a curriculum level. Do you agree with that? Do you feel it should be something that every child should not be made to do, but have the option to do?
Yeah, I believe every sport's the same, but I mean, boxing, I think boxing's a bit more therapeutic to any kid that's having any problems or any difficulties, and I think boxing benefits you in life more than any other sport. Um, you have a lot of kids with different personalities who can, I mean, you have angry kids, you have kids who go through certain things in their lives that may want to let off some steam, go in and punch a punch bag and stuff like that. That helps. It's therapeutic. It's psychologically good for your mind. You feel good after, and I think if you develop how to control those, the, like, or control or manage those temperaments at a young age, then I think schools, kids, and areas, and everyone will benefit from it in the long run.
Absolutely. And Sean, very finally, I can see it on your hat there, the public nuisance. Talk to me a little bit about the story behind the nickname. Why the public nuisance?
Yeah, it's just an old one from Commonwealth Games in 2018. After competition, I went out with a few mates from Australia who was living there at the time and had a few pints. It was put out of a nightclub in Sin City nightclub in Gold Coast. And they say I started a fight with the doorman, but the doorman started a fight with me first because he punched me and I just retaliated in self-defense. I got arrested and was given a ticket for being a public nuisance and a $765 fine, which I'm still due to pay, but I'm not, on the case of self-defense.
And why is it stuck? Why have you kept that as your nickname?
Because growing up, I always was a nuisance anyway. I was always a pest growing up, like, so just, I remember like within a couple of days, all the lads had changed the name of the group chat on WhatsApp till the Public Nuisance. And it was a photo of me in the cell holding the police reference number and getting the photo taken, and they were all just calling me a nuisance, and they were just, everyone just kept calling me the nuisance, the public nuisance is it. So it just stopped. I was like, you know what, I'm going to turn this negative into a positive, and kept it as a unique name because it meant something, and it's very unique, and it's part of who I am.
Absolutely, certainly unique, and the story behind it as well. Sean, thank you for your time today. Appreciate you joining us on Pro Boxing Fans. Best of luck for Wednesday against Siar as well.
Cheers, thank you very much.